Most people think that jump rope is just a boring form of cardio. Some people even think it's not a real workout. But I believe that jump rope can be for everyone, and anyone can use one to create their own flow, rhythm, and style. What's up? I'm Chris Gibbs, your freestyle jump rope coach, and today I'm breaking down 5 skills that instantly upgrade your freestyle game. Whether you're a beginner or you've been jumping rope for a while, follow along and learn a thing or two with me. So if you've got your rope, stand up and let's break down move number 1. First things first, we're gonna start with something simple but fundamental to being a smooth freestyle roper, which is the running step. So the running step looks like this. And it's the first footwork after the basic bounce that you should learn so you can do it at speed and eventually with other skills. The most common mistake I see with beginners when learning or improving on the running step is stepping too high or losing awareness of where the rope is. To counter these habits, we're going to start by practicing alternating 2 hops, hopping twice on 1 foot before switching to the next. But first, when learning new footworks, it's important to practice without the rope. This helps us gain confidence and awareness of the movement so we can perform it assertively and with intention. So let's practice some alternating 2 hops, hopping on our left foot twice and then our right foot twice, stepping down on every switch. So we're gonna go step, hop, just like that. And if you want to simulate the handle movement, tap the side of your legs as you're performing the steps and the hops. Step, hop, step, hop, step, hop. Once this feels comfortable and you got that rhythm down, add the rope back in. Make sure to maintain your posture and your confidence when adding in the rope. So we're gonna go step, hop, step, hop, step, hop, step, hop, step, hop. Just adding a little bit of elevation on the hop and being confident with the step. Now take away the second hop and continuously alternate your feet, maintaining that confidence with each step. So going from step, hop, step, hop, step, hop, step, hop, to step, 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 step. And there you've got yourself a running step. Make sure you practice this fundamental skill until it's second nature, because this next skill adds some serious flair with just a minor adjustment. The second skill we're going to learn today is the swing kick. This is a super fun staple footwork that can be performed with loads of speed and swag once you're comfortable with it. The swing kick looks like this. It uses the same alternating 2 hop footwork that we learned for the running step, but instead of hopping on the second beat, we're gonna add a kick. Practicing without the rope first, we're gonna go from step, hop, step, hop, step, hop, step, hop, to step, kick, step, kick, step, kick, step, kick. For extra style, feel like your body is being pulled in the direction that you're kicking. So we're gonna go step, kick, step, kick, step, kick, boom, going in the direction that your leg is kicking. Now with the rope, we're just gonna go step, kick, step, kick, step, kick. Adding some flair by letting that leg take us in the direction. Now the first 2 moves we covered were footwork skills, but the next 3 moves that we're covering are rope skills. So that means we're gonna be focusing more on how our hands are maneuvering the handles and the rope. Which brings us to the third skill that we're gonna learn today. The side swing. It looks like this when you're jumping over the rope with it, and like this when you're just continuously doing it on both sides. Now the side swing is one of the first skills that you want to learn, both fundamentally and to quickly level up your style. And there are 2 key parts to the side swing. You have the open swing and the closed swing. Now the open swing requires us to have our hands side by side on our dominant side like so, before crossing our hand to the other side for the closed or cross swing. Go over. Keeping the hands close together and working around the same hip level as when we're jumping over the rope. I perform my movements left-handed and go from left to right, so if you're right-handed, feel free to treat me like a mirror. Now the best way to practice this movement at the start is to use something like a small hand towel so we can properly feel and visualize the open and closed positions with the hands. You see, I like this tool because of the feedback that it gives. When the hands are side by side, the open side of the towel, when you cross your hands over, closed side of the towel. And gripping the corners of the towel keeps our hands in a nice and tight position, which I like. Start by practicing an open, close, open sequence, opening in the center to simulate a toe catch or jumping over the rope. Make sure to keep your hands in front and maintain the flow of the towel as it's passing by your sides before opening up in the center. Once you've got that down, practice and see if you can do continuous side swings by opening up after crossing over. So we're gonna go open, cross, and we're just gonna open up on the same side right there before crossing over and continuing the flow from there. Open, cross, keeping my hands in front and maintaining the flow as it's going past me here. All right, now that you've mastered the towel, let's add in the rope. Starting with the rope behind our heels, we're gonna bring the rope overhead and then drop into our open, closed, open sequence, ending with the toe catch. So we're gonna go overhead, open, close, open into a toe catch. Now add some elevation to jump over the toe catch. 1, 2, elevate, and then add a hop to each swing, syncing up with when the rope hits the floor. Hop, 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 hit floor, hit floor, hit floor. Every time the rope hits, we add a hop like we're jumping the rope. Then if you want to kick things up another notch, perform it with a running step going 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, stepping down every time the rope hits the floor. And then feel free to get creative with it. Practice doing the double side swing while adding a little shift or a step, other skills like the swing kick. But this next move definitely wins the prize for playground nostalgia. That's right, moving on to the fourth skill, we're talking about the crossover. The crossover is similar to the running step in the sense that it's not hard to perform, but we want to make sure we're doing it the right way with efficiency and swagger. Here's what it looks like with a basic bounce, and then a running step. But it all starts with mastering the crossover toe catch. Start with the rope behind your heels before bringing the rope overhead and then crossing your handle tips down towards your feet, pointing at the floor, just like so. Overhead, cross to the feet. Some common mistakes to avoid that I notice with beginners is hunching your back, crossing your arms too wide, or crossing your arms too early. You want to make sure your posture is upright and comfortable so your form looks clean and effortless. Focus on pointing the handle tips to the floor to avoid the impulse of wanting to widen your arms. And then make sure your hands stay by your hips the whole time and cross downwards. A common mistake that I really don't like to see is when people cross too early and they reach up high. So the hands are not by the hips and they create the cross, and then the loop is over here, and there's a chance for that loop to get disturbed at some point in this time before it reaches your feet. So you don't want to create the loop too early, and then you try to guide it under your feet. That's when the hunch comes in. You want to stay confident, keep the hands by the hips and cross downwards. Once you've got the technique down, practice the toe catches, bringing the rope overhead and then crossing to the feet. One more time, overhead, and then crossing down to the feet. Handle tips pointed to the floor. Once you can cross over toe catch the rope consistently with good form, add some elevation and practice doing the basic bounce. And then see if you can practice doing it with the running step too, starting slow and adding speed over time. Whew, just like that. Also for fun, you can implement these with swing kicks by crossing before each kick. So kick, cross, kick, cross, kick, cross, kick. Bah, bah. Now, if you stayed this long, thank you, and you now have the tools to put together some pretty stylish and effortless looking combos. But this next move is what turns heads at the gym and separates beginner from advanced ropers. The fifth and final skill that we're going to be covering is the mic release. Now this move is considered to be a beginner release because it's one of the first ones that you learn. That being said, there are a lot of nuances and concepts that go into properly performing this movement, so I'm going to highlight the main 3 steps and create a video in the future that's more detailed and cover the fundamental progressions to learning the mic release. Anyways, let's get into step 1 for the mic release, the wrist pop. Now the wrist pop is a standard way that freestyle ropers start the mic release, but you'll also see some people use a method where they toss their handle out to the side to provide that same pop effect to start the mic release. That being said, I'm going to focus on the method where we're using our wrist and the handle because that's my preferred way of doing it. To perform the wrist pop, you're going to want to bring the rope overhead and then drop the handle on your wrist. Boom. After dropping the handle on our wrist, as the rope goes back and up, the handle is going to pivot off of the wrist and pop off when the rope makes it to the top position and continues moving in the forward direction. So we're gonna do this by extending our dominant hand out in front and slightly across our body like we're checking the time on a watch, and then placing the opposite handle on our wrist with the handle tip in line with the outer edge of our wrist. This detail is really important because if you don't have enough handle on your wrist, the rope is just gonna pop off early. And on the contrary, if you have too much handle on your wrist, then the rope is just gonna sort of get caught onto your hand or your arm. You'll know you're in the correct position when the handle is parallel with the floor and it can balance on your wrist like so. And this is the perfect position, I think, for the rope to go back and up, and then a natural pop can occur. A common mistake I see beginners make when putting the handle on their wrist is slowing down the rope so it doesn't have enough natural momentum to travel back and up to have this pivot and allow it to pop off naturally. So to compensate, beginners will often try to use their wrist to create that speed and that rotation instead of just letting the rope pivot and do the work, which can lead to some pretty inconsistent pops. To practice maintaining the speed of the rope and adopting the proper handle position, practice wrist wrap drills. Bring the rope overhead and place the handle on your wrist, but don't let it go. Let the rope travel back, around, and up, and then wrap around like this. Notice how there's a slight angle? That's okay. You don't need it to be perfectly straight or you might end up reaching out to the side. Make sure to keep your wrist firm so the handle has a solid base to pivot off of. So keeping the wrist firm and not backing down as I'm placing it on my hand. That time to go, eh? All right, cool. I appreciate that, man. All right, we gotta leave at 11:05, which is in 10 minutes, but we'll continue this tomorrow. And we're back. It's the next morning. It's still dark outside because it's Canada. It's dark early and it's dark late. I still got the same outfit on. Don't judge me. I promise it's clean. All right, so we have the wrist wrap. Now we're gonna practice the feeling of a proper pivot and check that our pop is continuing in the forward direction by putting our handles together like this and then going into a wrist pop. So yeah, we're actually gonna let go of these handles and let the rope fly. So make sure you don't have any valuables around and make sure it's continuing in the forward direction. Up, keep my wrist firm and have the rope pop off and go over my wrist. Time, over, pop. You see how it pivots off of my wrist and goes over and forward. Once you can do this consistently and have the rope continuing in the forward direction, then we can hold both handles separately once again and try to do the same thing. Boom. There we go, the loop is going here, popping off and traveling over the wrist. So all in all for the pop, make sure you keep your wrist firm and in front. Ensure a proper handle placement so it doesn't pop off too early or fall off. And maintain the speed of the rope so it has enough energy to go back and up and the handle can pivot off the wrist so the rope can pop off and continue moving forward. Let the rope do the work. Don't push with your wrist, let the rope pop off. Now on to step 2 of the mic release, the scoop. So once we're able to consistently get the rope popping off in the forward direction, we're gonna use a scooping motion to bring that loop and then the handle inward. The rope is gonna come back, pop off, continue in the forward direction, and around here, we're going to scoop and bring that loop in like so. So it's gonna go here, and we're gonna sort of scoop it in. Notice how the handle follows the same line as the pop and the scoop. This will make catching the handle easier once we get to that part. Common mistakes beginners make with the scoop is compromising their posture or using their shoulder or their arm to rotate the rope. And it makes it really hard to control, and a lot of times you end up reaching out to the side in fear of the rope and it makes it hard to catch. Instead, keep your posture consistent. Start with a high quality pop. Primarily use your wrist to bring the rope inwards. So we're gonna have a good pop and use our wrist to scoop in and have that rope come back to us. If you've got a good pop, you don't need to use a lot of force. Just use your wrist and turn the rope over. Now on to the third and final step of the mic release, the pocket position. The pocket position occurs immediately after the scoop and it looks like this. Scoop and over. Allow your wrist to naturally roll inwards and around before dropping your hand to your dominant hip and pointing the handle tip to your feet. So like this, scoop, pocket, scoop, pocket. When done properly with the rope, the loop will follow the handle pattern, traveling inwards and around before dropping to your feet like so. In, around, down. Practice this feeling of the pocket position after the scoop and try to catch the middle of the loop with your feet. Just the loop, not trying to catch the handle yet. Nailing this toe catch in the middle of the loop is super valuable for catching the handle because it ensures that it's gonna be right around our hip. If I can get this part under my feet, then this handle has nowhere else to go but here. So I can reach down with an open palm to make contact with the handle and go for a catch. So catch in the middle of the loop, handle has nowhere else to go. So after the pop, it's gonna be easier for catch. Once you can catch the loop with your feet and get the handle to consistently make contact with your hand, then we're gonna close our hand at the moment of impact and perform mic-release toe catch reps. So if I can catch the loop and get the rope or the handle to contact my hand consistently, once we're used to that, we're gonna start closing our hand at the moment of impact when we go into our pocket position, so we can catch the rope or handle with our hands and with our feet. So closing the hand at the moment of impact, looking like that. Now, if you can consistently catch and toe catch the mic release, then try adding a little bit of elevation at the pocket position as you're going into your toe catch. We're gonna go and just add a little bit of elevation. One more time, we're gonna go pop, scoop, pocket. Adding a little bit of a hop at the pocket position. Then start to add small hops to each step of the mic release, making sure to stay moving during the pop, scoop, and pocket position. Pop, scoop, pocket. Hop, hop, hop. And to take it up another notch, you can perform this movement with a running step. Stepping on your dominant foot as you pop, scooping as you step on your non-dominant foot, and then going into your pocket position as you step over with your dominant foot to end. So for lefty, it's left, right, and for righty, right, right. I do things left-handed, so I'm gonna go left, right, left. We're gonna go left, right, pop, scoop, pocket, left, right, pop, scoop, pocket, left, right, just like that. Now this move takes a while to master, but practice lots and I promise it'll be worth it. And there you have it, 5 moves that you can use to instantly upgrade your jump rope style. Now you've got the tools, the rest is practice and rhythm, so you can mix and match those moves the way that you like. Don't forget to hit the like button, and if you're serious about upgrading your jump rope style, subscribe for more jump rope related content, routines, and tutorials. Drop a comment and tell me which move you're practicing first and what you'd like to see next. And I'll catch you on the next one. Peace!